Hello again, everyone. Witch Doctor here, looking at the markets, and I'm looking at the week-over-week activity, talking about last week's trading versus this past week. And what we're looking at here is a 4-hour chart. Of course, as you know, we take a look at the dollar index, and you can see here a 4-hour chart compared to the yen, Swiss franc, and the Canadian, and they're all on the 4-hour basis: euro, pound, and Aussie along the bottom. And the important thing here to look at is last week's high. So this past week we were able to go above last week's high here in the dollar index, pushing as high as 83.60 or so. But essentially the idea was that we finished on strength and literally able to break out of last week's high and push to continuation, and closed very strongly up in the 83.50s or so. Notice that we not able to go down to the previous low. Essentially the whole entire week was a very impressive push higher. And when you look around the board, the Japanese yen here was pretty much in a range bound type of consolidation, not able to get out of the 50 pip range for this whole entire week. But again, according to what we're looking at in the dollar, we did have the same response in the Swiss franc, where we broke above last week's high and then flagged out right around last week's high, around 97, and then finished right around 98. So again, things look like they're setting up for a push all the way up to the big figure in the Swiss franc, and we got to be on alert here for a little bit of resistance up there. But the Canadian dollar, you can see here that it tried to break down below the previous week's low, based out right around 101, found the buyers, and then finished towards the upper part of the week's range. But considering that the dollar was moving up, you would not expect the Canadian dollar to move down for any length of period of time, as we all know when we talk about our correlations. So the euro, on the other hand, basically pushing down below 125 and then breaking below last week's low, finishing on the lows right around 123, even. But you can see here that the dollar went up, and that had a pretty dramatic rise, and the euro basically was pushing off of that. Couldn't even stay up in that 127 range. Essentially the bears coming in and really ripped this thing apart. Same thing with this with the pound, although the pound was not able to push all the way to the dead lows here. But you can see that we did use last week's high, breaking below last week's low, towards the end of the week, but essentially making it down towards that 155 level, psychological level of support. But then again, we'll talk about that on the members video. And again, the Australian dollar here really not able to show any signs of strength after trying to break out of last week's high. And of course, considering that the euro and the pound were essentially breaking down pretty strongly, that gave you a reason not to be trying to buy the Australian dollar. And sure enough, towards the end of the week, it started to make its way back towards the 102 even level. Now the question is, how do we start for the coming week? And right now, if this is the sign that we should be looking for with strong dollar, it looks like there's a risk off appetite coming into the market, and we can take a look at the dollar index looking like it wants to move higher. So that's all I got for this market wrap, folks. This is Witch Doctor signing off. I hope it helps. We'll catch up to you in the next market wrap, so stay safe out there.